Soul Seers, and welcome to SeeJamieSim. I am Jamie, and today we are taking a look at a shell challenge that I've put together called the Platform Shell Challenge. If you've never done a shell challenge before, it's just anything that I've put down, the outside walls and everything can't be touched, but you can build through it however you like. You can add, fences and windows and change the insides. It's actually a pretty fun situation here. As you can see, I'm moving my handheld camera so you can see it better or worse depending on what I've done. Here I am getting into the speed build. Yeah, I'm just kind of messing around with stuff right now. Trying to decide on how I wanted to do some pools, but I realized I can't do them on platforms. I am still learning, so it's always a little bit of a process when I have been building. But this is where I kind of get my idea. I put those windows all around up there, and I decided to make that a pool. I put the big horses downstairs, and here I am trying to mess around with what I want. And here's where I get my idea of building the casino. So I put in those debug walls from Jungle Escape, and I'm like, we are gonna have a whole casino here. Only there are no rooms in the casino, because this is a pretty small building as a general rule. As far as the builds go. So I added those fake debug walls, and here I am digging into the ground here, where I'm trying to decide, am I gonna have water features, or how am I gonna get this done? I had discovered that I couldn't put, the pools in where I wanted them. So I had, just kind of gone through. These fences do get kicked to the curb later on, but I'm just kind of outlining what exactly I wanted. So as you can see, I got those big giant horses. I think they're horses, not llamas. So this was a lot of trial and error for me. So you'll see me messing around with palm trees because I do have the 3 steps up there. I'm trying to decide on how everything will work or what will fit where. And I do decide that I want palm trees because I want this for like a little Las Vegas feel and, utterly decadent sort of deal. I love Las Vegas. Not for the casinos particularly. I have been 5 or 6 times. I really like their museums. I like, the exhibits inside of the casinos. They have, all sorts of things that you can mess around with. So I am kind of deciding what I'm going to put in at this point. Do I want a movie theater? Do I want a restaurant? Do I want, just really trying to and here is where I am trying to decide on how much I want it to look like the Las Vegas Strip. I'm debating whether I put things outside or if I just take the approach where it's just going to all be like connected. Here's where I decide that I am going to have a restaurant, and it's going to be themed. Whereas this is kind of jungle themed, I kind of decide that my restaurant is not going to be, which is kind of Las Vegas in a nutshell. There's always, different themes going on everywhere. So this is going to be my South American adventure themed hotel or casino. And I'm kind of deciding, how intense is this going to be and what will fit where, because if you guys decide to do the challenge, you will discover that working with a whole bunch of platforms, kind of a big, huge pain in the ass. So didn't quite know what I had gotten myself into at this point, but I'm starting to solve problems. So this is very debug heavy, this build. I normally don't do that. I normally really keep an eye on what I use for debug, but the way that I wanted to do this, I knew wasn't going to be able to be achieved without it. And as you can see in using the debug walls, I have to have some of them on the inside. And here I am just deciding, how do I want the roof to look? I really liked those debug skylights. I didn't actually want too much skylight, just because I had half thought that I was going to add more later. And here's where I decide that if I can't bring the Las Vegas Strip to me, I was just going to make it all on my own. So this is more of the fencing that I do not keep. I thought, oh, new world, gold kind of thing. And then I completely just get rid of that. And going in with a half-hipped roof there on the side. I decided to put as you can see, one half is like an infinity pool, and the other side balcony is the hot tub. That is also, I think that's I don't know when we got that. I know it's not the anniversary one, but as I am releasing this video, they just announced all of the new kits and the packs coming up and all of that. And now that I've done this, I am super excited for a businesses and hobbies expansion pack that's going to be coming out. However, I'm a little less excited for 3 kits coming out on the same day. I really hope that doesn't become a regular thing. I kind of had thought that releasing 5 kits within 2 weeks was, just celebrating their anniversary, but now we have 3 kits coming out on the 6th of May. I almost wish that they would have one in April, because it looks like they're going to be releasing businesses and hobbies in March, and then nothing for April, and then 3 kits in May. I guess it doesn't really matter, but it is a lot. I'm doing a little bit of just a decorative window here between this debug wall and the window for where I'm going to be putting the front desk. Again, these platforms give me the worst sort of trouble, and I'm just adding these are actually debug of what you can make with the clay ball. So I'm just making this into like a little picture window and trying to decide on where my front desk will be. I had also brought in the debug of the parking meters that are supposed to be outside. I thought that they looked like ATM machines, so I decided I was going to put them inside instead of outside where they're supposed to mimic the parking meters. Here I am fooling around with the front desk stuff, and yeah, just messing around. I started building this right after the 3 packs, Secret Sanctuary, Casanova Cave, and the Comfy Gamer came out. So you're kind of going to be seeing me using the newest stuff too, though not to an excessive amount, just because I wasn't quite comfortable with it yet. I did a live stream of playing with those kits. If you want to check out my Twitch VODs, so you can see a whole build I did based on those color schemes and whatnot. So here I am adding, indoor stuff and more more platforms, just so they could get down from the the door there, because there's a lot of platforms outside. I have a sunken in conversation pit there in the middle, and I'm still at this point deciding what I want to do with it, because I can't make it into a fountain. So this is where I decide, you know what, if I can't make it into a fountain, I'm gonna make it into a conversation pit. So I go in with these, what is it? Oh, I can't remember what they're called. The decorator kit, and Dream Home Decorator. And, I put those together. You can do different seating configurations with the decorator kit. So I decide that I'm making a little conversation pit in there, though I haven't at this point decided what I'm definitely settled on for the hotel. You'll see later on I change it and then I change it back. Oh, and this is right after an update too when I'm doing some of this, so I have to reset my game stuff. So you'll see I'm also doing that. This was during a busy time for The Sims. I believe this build took me about 4.5, almost 5 hours total. And I'm cutting it down here, so you'll be able to enjoy it at a much quicker pace than me building it. I also am blocking off some of the wall that I don't want to use or see. So here I am back down in the lobby, trying to decide how I'm going to block out some of this randomness that is in the middle here. And, am I going to put this? And then the plant that nobody can use because it's so huge is perfect, and it blocks where the walls are overlapping, and it's kind of causing it to kind of shimmer when you look at it. So yes, I am just experimenting here. This is from the Comfy Gamer kit, a very clutch kit. It is my favorite one that has come out. And I am just doing some stuff that I didn't want in my game for the moment. And yeah, so those rugs are from the Comfy Gamer kit, which it's a great rug, super easy to use, and it looks good everywhere. As you can see, I use it in the conversation pit as well. And then I debate whether I should use the black or the red, and I think I go through several iterations of the stairwell because I know it's going to lead up to a restaurant. Now I've decided, you can see where I've decorated the outside seating area. And now I need to pull the sign out of the wall and start to figure out exactly what I am setting up. Yeah, so most of this is, I've decided I'm going to put a full working restaurant into this small space. So, just struggling, just living the struggle life here. If you'll know, if you've run restaurants in The Sims, you need to have a host stand, the chef stuff, you need to have a waiter station. So I immediately get overloaded with my thought of building a functional restaurant and go back downstairs, and I take that giant projector screen thing and put it into the lobby so people can, be wowed by whatever's on the screen. It's kind of to represent all of the bright lights and things that are taking place in a Las Vegas hotel. I I am struggling here whether I want the elevator on the top floor or the bottom floor, or if I want to stick with the stairs, because I really do like the stairs in my builds. So I'm, doing the outside, doing the inside, jumping back and forth, trying to decide on where I'm going to add walls and doors and how it's going to look. So I decide on a kind of Brindleton Bay sort of thing in here, and I'm doing the restrooms, which also, this is a small space, and I am struggling greatly with if they'll even be able to open the door and then go to the restroom. So you can see that I sample all of this cats and dogs stuff for the restaurant and end up using those rope mirrors, which I personally like. I don't see a lot of simmers building with them, but I personally really like those rope mirrors. And now I'm taking a look at the outside, and I realize I'm going to need a whole bunch of steps. And what are going to look good here? Because I have rocks, and I have the castle kit, and down below it is masonry, and then I use more of this gold that I absolutely decide I hate later on in the build. Oh, maybe it's right now I decide that it's untenable. I'm just like, I can't do this. Can't have the gold, can't do it. So I'm testing out so many different options with the different parts of the hotel. And do I stick with this one? I think I do end up sticking with this for the most part. Yeah. If you've been to Vegas, you know that everything is kind of roped off and you're herded like cattle around. So you can't get lost because you only can go one way. These, I'm thinking, were more for like if people were outside smoking, and then I decide that, we're going to put in some greenery here, and just to make it look more like it's been, like it's being taken care of by actual people, and, kind of overgrown. And you can see the skeletons there, which I'm going to be bringing in more of those. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, skeletons all over the place. And yes, so here is where I put in more skeletons. Apparently you cannot go to Sims Las Vegas without having a crazy amount of skeletons. Yeah, I went overboard on some skeletons, like way overboard. But they end up looking really good. I really enjoy them. And just, putting in some greenery, trying to make it all look good. Doing this in like the most difficult way. Switching it all around, and just have them standing in some, again, building with these platforms is a special kind of hill that hopefully some of you decide to take on. I definitely had to think really creatively with getting around the amount of platforms that I had built into this, but I like it stretching my brain a little bit. Here is where I am back at the restaurant. I've put in all of the greenery and the skeletons, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do the restaurant, and then I come back outside again, because I'm kind of hopping from one to the other, and getting ideas for everything. And I decide we need way more windows, Which, if you ever go to Las Vegas or if you've been to Vegas, you'll know that there is not a lot of windows. Like, it is dark and you have no idea if it's day or night, which is kind of what they want so that you stay and you spend money. And I go back to these vines after I move around, and you will see me try and figure out what I want to do with this elevator several times, because and and also, yeah, just this area gave me a little bit of trouble where I was trying to decide, what I should do. And Sims just really like natural light, so I didn't want to rob them of it. And so I just kind of cut off some of the wall just so it didn't look weird next to the elevator, and put in some registers. And now comes the great the lighting that I end up doing, which I don't stay with these particular ones, but the ones I'm putting on now, those are the ones I end up staying with, and they go all over. All over. And it was so funny when my mom was actually visiting when I am building this, and I was like, hey, do you want to come see the build I'm doing? And so my mom was just like, oh. And later on she told me, she's like, oh, wouldn't you like to have a hobby? I said, this is my hobby. And she's like, oh. Like, the most mom response ever. The only other thing she could have said was, oh, I'll buy you a book. How about that? Why don't you read for a little bit? Which, it doesn't matter how long you are out of their house. It like, I could feel my mom being like, why aren't you contributing to a 401k? Right at this moment. Here is where I'm putting in the actual casino parts of this. And, well, yeah. So I'm trying to decide which game tables I'm going to have there, what chairs we're going to use. You can see the Casanova cave kit. I have those card tables there. I'm just trying to make it, exciting looking in there with lots of different game tables. We have the ping pong table outside. We have the foosball table in the little alcove. Was it the sabak table is underneath the simoleon sign, and then a couple of card tables and a bubble blowing station over by the bar. So, it just kind of seemed, par for the course. If you haven't been to Vegas, you don't know, but they have all of these oxygen bars, like just randomly situated places where you just like sit there and they put like the cannulas on you in your nose, and you just kind of sit and breathe oxygen. It's pretty funny and a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, and here is where I decide, instead of putting a penthouse, I am going to put in a lounge and put in another restroom, because we have restrooms in the restaurant, and now we'll have a restroom with a shower up here, just because this is the level with the pool. Yes, with the pool and with the hot tub. And I go back down here because I was like, oh, I didn't put in the restroom, public restroom sign. So yeah, that couch there is from Secret Sanctuary, Bella Goth's kit, and I'm trying to decide what to put on this wall. I go between, providing like a space to sit with, like, I don't have a computer on here, so I thought, well, the Sims always want to be on computers, so I probably should include that. But I have vending machines, which you'll find lots of when you're in Las Vegas as well, along with like they have like little shops where you buy practically anything on Earth. And since I'm making this kind of a black and red area, I decide that I am going to, this is a TV that I'm putting in here. It's the painting from Secret Sanctuary, so it's actually a television. So you gotta love those art televisions. They're so much better, I think, than the regular ones. So we have this all going on, and I'm trying to bring in some greenery, just some interesting but not personalized clutter. Because hotels are inherently impersonal, and so here I am trying to decide what exactly I want here. I go back and forth so much, and I decide I'm just going to put this one set of curtains on there and make it look like you could pull it across if you wanted. What else do we do? I'm looking for some art to put on the walls and putting some signs, so it would label this is the pool and this is the exit and this is this. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything is labeled like it would be in a hotel. And then I am back to decorating and putting the final touches on all of my floors. So just making sure that everything looks cohesive and also a little realistic. We are back in the restaurant in the kitchen area, and I am gonna clutter this, and this is where I decide, oh, well, I have that teal and I'm going to change it all out. So, lots of pivoting during this build. And I also decide that they deserve to have a window. Though I really can't name a restaurant that I've worked at where you can see into the outside from the kitchen. And I've worked in quite a few, not in the back, but as a server or bartender. So I'm just kind of kidding this out and trying to make it look a little bit more realistic, and clutter is the name of the game for Simmers. We love some clutter. And life just doesn't feel correct if we don't have, clutter to take up all of our time and energy and our builds. So we have so much clutter. And this is where I decide to kick the pizza stuff to the curb because we're making fish and chips, and I pile up a bunch of plates by the sink just because dirty dishes in the sink. They don't have industrial dishwashers here, but I did put a regular dishwasher in. But it just kind of feels correct to have dishes piling up during service. And I put a mailbox in because you got to do that to pay your bills. And here I am looking to see if this final touches, if there's anything it needs. I have the lounge labeled, I have the restaurant labeled, I'm putting in, some last minute bins because I realize I have no trash bins anywhere besides down in the lobby. So we're doing that. So you can see the bars right across from the station for the hostess. And then here we are just kind of finishing up our lobby. And yeah, we are just circling around and around and around, putting the final touches. Got some more palm trees that I really wanted to put in just to make it feel complete. And this is where I decide to double down on our South American feel and looking at all my lights, and I save just because, you know, I realize, wow, this looks great. And then I'm like, oh God, I better save. So, and since the back of the building looked a little bit empty, I put in some more of those little blocks there. And, you know, just am kind of putting some final touches. You know, making them a little bit smaller, and again, lining up anything, you know, is always a pain. So, yes. So here we are. I'm saving the build, and let's take you on a final tour. So here you can see the finished product next to each other. If you do decide to do this shell challenge, it should be done by February 28th. 2025, because we'll be touring them on my stream on Twitch on the 1st under SeeJamieSim on Twitch and on YouTube. So have a great night and good luck.